If you've been a subscriber to our channel for any time, you've probably heard some videos in the past of us talking about how much you should be saving, right? And today we're going to get into a little lesson on how you can start saving 20% of your money, right? And in this video, we'll also give you a couple book recommendations, which I think will be very valuable in helping your mindset on how to get to where you want to be. So one of the first places you want to start is with a book by George S. Clausen called The Richest Man in Babylon. The reason I'm bringing this up, this is one of my favorite books that I read a long time ago, and it really speaks to the mindset that you need to start to have in order to get to that 20% savings mark. Take a look. In regards to how much you save, George Clausen says in his timeless book, it should be not less than a tenth, no matter how little you earn, right? And you're saying a tenth, that's 10%, right? But in order to get ahead in today's economy, saving a minimum of 20% has become necessary. Why has it become necessary? Look at all the things that have been going on, right? We've had massive shifts in the economy. The stock market has been falling. Inflation has been going up, gas prices, groceries, all these things, which you might be saying, hey, all these new expenses are coming along. How am I ever supposed to save? You got to start somewhere, right? And so back in the 1900s, when George Clausen wrote that book, he was saying save at least a tenth, right? So you should try to hit at least 10%, but you want to start to figure out ways to get yourself up to 20% or more. So I had just mentioned some things that you might have as excuses, right? The market changing, the price of gas going up, the cost of food going up. These are all excuses, right? And let's think about it here, right? According to CNBC, while many people know that they should be saving, 59% of Americans have accepted that they will have to postpone retirement, and 36% believe they will never have enough to retire. The reality is that most people can save enough, and there are four main reasons which prevent them from achieving financial freedom. It's not that you can't save, it's that you have this mindset and these excuses that get in the way. If you start to create a plan around this and you stick to that plan, you will definitely be able to achieve financial freedom. The first excuse, or maybe a misstep, is that you don't pay yourself first. Think about this. People attempting to save often wait until the end of the month, only to realize that all of their income has been spent. Not only should you save 20% of your income, but you should be the first expense when a paycheck comes in. So think about this. There's another book that I want to recommend here. It's called Profit First. This could shift your mentality completely, because what you want to do is you put yourself first in line. Before any expenses are paid, you're paying yourself, right? You're taking profit from your paycheck first, and then everything else is what's left for you to spend throughout the month. So excuse number two, you don't make enough. And look, I've been victim of this in my past, right? Thinking that, hey, I'm just gonna delay. But the problem is, if you don't get started at some point, it's really amazing what happens when you start, even with that smallest bit, and you take that money and you set it aside, and that's a sacred thing for you, that you begin to be able to start to compound that savings, and it becomes a fun game for you. If you aren't making enough to save 20% of your income, consider changing jobs. The average paycheck increase when an employee finds a new position is 14.8%. If changing jobs is impossible, consider negotiating a raise or picking up a side hustle. So that's another thing completely, right? If you can't change a job, maybe you have a specialized position, maybe there's nothing available in the economy today. But what are you doing? If you have a 9-to-5 job, are there additional shifts you can pick up inside of that job? Or are there side hustles, right? If you're working 9 to 5, well, what are you doing from 5 to 9, right? That other 4 hours that you can be putting in to creating your own wealth. Excuse number 3, this is from Yahoo Finance, right? You really don't have a budget. And I know nobody likes to talk about budgets. Some people think that they run a budget. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But honestly, I think it's something that a lot of people avoid. But let's get into what Yahoo Finance says. Even though 86% of Americans report keeping track of their income and expenses, 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. According to a new Lending Club report, Make sure that your budget does not just allow you to get by, but truly maximize your savings. The challenge is people earn a certain amount and they generally end up spending that full amount. So even as their income increases, because they don't have a budget and they're not staying consistent in where they are, they allow themselves to spend and just go through more and more money. And to be honest, back in the day, I remember growing up and my parents writing through or going through their checkbook and balancing their checkbook. That's something that's really not done today. We buy everything on credit card and debit cards. We see our direct deposits into our bank account. We know there's outflows, but are we really keeping track of how and where we're spending money? And the answer is, for most people, no. All right, and the fourth excuse or thing that gets in the way of you saving money is that you don't have a goal, right? We just talked about budget, but what is the actual goal? What are you saving for? Why are you trying to get there, right? Is it financial freedom? What does that even mean to you? Are you looking to buy a car, buy a house? What kind of goals do you have? Because once you set that goal and you have the intention, it becomes much easier to start saving. But let's look at this. Many people find it hard to budget when there's no goal in sight. When you decide how much you want to save, consider rewarding yourself if you're able to keep the budget for 2 to 3 months. These rewards should be small but meaningful, such as a trip to the movies or a meal out. What you want to start to think about is not just that long-term goal, right, of buying the house or buying the car, but reward yourself consistently as you're able to save, as you're able to stick to the plan. Do little things that incentivize you to keep going with that plan, because that long-term goal may take 2, 3, 5 years, right? And if you're going that far, at some point you're going to be like, why am I doing this, right? Why am I taking all this savings and delaying all this gratification? Well, don't delay it all the way. Along the way, do little things to reward yourself for staying on track. So once you start saving, what's the next step, right? You could get yourself to a position of saving 20% for the rest of your life. And if you're only putting it in the bank, the chances of you being able to reach financial freedom are very, very slim, right? So what you want to do is click the link below. Get with one of the Epic team members. They'll be able to walk you through the success process and show you the steps of things that you can do because you've been able to start saving. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully this put you on a great path to start that savings and have that journey to financial freedom. Thank you again for being a subscriber. And if you haven't turned it on already, hit that notification bell. If you like this video, give it a like, and we'll see you on the next video.